Do y'all hear me? All right. We live. We are live. So what's going on, chat? Now I know why you're watching this video. I know why. Because of last night. Now, I didn't want to post this video last night and and be a prisoner of the moment. So I let it sit, resonate, gave everybody a chance to watch it. We all should have been up. It was pretty early. Um, but first and foremost, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't already, send this video to a friend. Ask their friend what they think. Tell them to send that to a friend, and then to click subscribe. All right. So let me take my time with it. So I've already recorded this video. I have, but something was going on with my hosting site, and I recorded a good 20-minute video. It was perfect. My notes are still there, so I don't not worried about it. But I gotta redo the video, which is no problem. So let's get started. Want to also give a shout out to Dos Cuernos Tequila. Shout out to Dos Cuernos Tequila. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. Make sure if you take a visit to a store and you need a drink to be able to get you to where you need to be, Dos Cuernos Tequila. Make sure you visit them at Dos Cuernos Tequila on all platforms, and then visit your local liquor store. And if they don't have it, tell them they need to visit Dos Cuernos Tequila and take a gander. So last night, so we know. First and foremost, we know what Cash Money Records is. We know who No Limit Records was. Okay. Both top labels in the 90s. Them on top of Death Row, great in all independent labels that end up transcending music and hip hop and doing what they did. Years ago when Verzuz came about, this was that matchup that we all put on our wish list. Cash Money versus No Limit. That's what we wanted to see. Okay. Cash Money, Birdman, Wayne, Juvenile, BG, Turk. Them on many fresh beats, undefeated. No Limit, Master P, Mystical, Silk the Shocker, C Murder, Snoop, Mix, got it. Now, just like Verzuz did those years ago, okay, because it's been 3 years, but just like Verzuz did the years ago, it not only lets us relive and a segment of fans relive the glory days, these records, and oh yeah, remember some records from some of these great artists, but it also introduced these artists and these records to a new segment of fans. Not only a new segment of fans that are our age, but a new segment of fans that are on the internet that are younger than us, so on and so forth. So great to know and to have. It was to get straight to it. It was as expected. It was. Now, just to bring it to you, we always No Limit soldiers. I got my camos on now. I had my soldier rag on last night. We all was No Limit soldiers, right? No Limit, Masterpiece Hustle. He lived the American dream. He was a rapper. He became an NBA player. He was a businessman. Man had cereal. You get it. You get it. Cash Money, when you heard the 99 and the 2000, it was over with. Juvenile and Wayne was the Shaq and Kobe of rap. Juvenile come in, he do his thing, he gives you that down south feel. Wayne brings it home, chunk deuces to the field, and bring the championship to. That's what they did. That's what they did. Wayne went solo. Juvie did his thing. Cash Money, they became the big timers, Manny and Stunner, and that's what it was. And then they went on and transformed even more and brought in Young Money and so on and so forth. All right. But speaking as for label, Mia X, we know what she was. Now to go over everything, all right. The MVP of the night. Now if you see these rings, these medals, we don't do these plaques. We don't do co-MVPs. We don't. The one MVP of the night was Juvenile. Okay? Many people forget before Wayne became who he was. Once again, Wayne was always Wayne. Wayne was Wayne when he was 14. Some people prefer young Wayne. Anyway, Hot Boy Wayne anyway. But Juvenile was still carrying back then. Juvenile's stage presence was what it was back then. Okay? So that never changed. Mia X, the true first lady artist of a record label. Now we got Lil Kim, got it. Got Foxy Brown, got it. But Mia X was the first one that the South had to respect. That the record labels and the music industry had to respect. She always was a fan favorite. Okay? Mia X in this day and age would be undefeated. Like, she's undefeated, but put Mia X, like, if she was a brand new artist in today's day and age with the female dominance that's going on in music and hip hop right now, no one would be able to touch her. You get what I'm saying? So it was a great to introduce the world to Mia last night. And I know she's reaping all of her flowers, and I want to make sure I give her flowers at that. So if Juvenile was 1A, Juvenile was 1, she was 2. Easy. Now, though you check all my social platforms, I was going for No Limit last night. I know Cash Money had records. I just figured that No Limit was dropping every month, and they wasn't just dropping garbage every month. They was dropping records every month, and so I thought a different approach was going to be given. Now I know, Mac performed, Fiend performed, Silk performed, Romeo was there, and he didn't perform ICDC College. But, P also, he had balls on stage. He had people on stage that were not going to be able to grab the mic, but that was a big part of the movement of No Limit. Shout out to P for that. And so just to kind of to take that there, they, in my opinion, they didn't win. It's 10-9, 10-8, 10. I'll give it 9 because Snoop's presence helped, hands down. Wayne's absence hurt, but it wasn't needed. I'm not going off of opinion. I'm going off of reaction. I'm going off of crowd reaction when the records was first dropped. I'm going off of stage performance. I'm going off of all of that. And though Wayne would have helped, like, would have been a landslide if Wayne was there. But to the effect of him not being there, we know, like, for instance, Turk also wasn't there, and we know Turk. What we knew for weeks, Turk wasn't going to be there. Him and Birdman, all of that issue was still there. And from what Turk said, because he had his own performance and his own listening party, Wayne wasn't coming due to not all the Hot Boys being present. So if that's the case, that was expected. I'm not surprised Wayne wasn't there. So that's the reaction that you get from me. No Limit, yes, though pretty much all banging records. Um, they play some cruisers. They play some, about it. That we can sit here and ride to. We played Cadillac. We played uh uh Ice Cream Man. Some records that are timeless and are hits, but some stuff that we about to just chill and relax to while Cash Money was dropping participation records that the crowd had to react to. And obviously there are many fresh beats, and it was gonna do what it had to do anyway when you heard that first beat drop. But he's a part of the ingredients, and so it just was there. Hands down. So to go to some of the reactions, okay. Birdman and Manny Fresh, their Big Time Days are still fly. The number one stunner, all of those records was a great reminder to people that of the Birdman and Manny Fresh collab. Uh, so that was that piece. Then to go back to my notes. They played well off of another win. Wayne was so low. But I seen some of the people like, surprised about the Juvenile piece and stuff like that. Y'all gotta understand, Juvenile, Wayne was young and brought up the tail end of those records, but Juvenile was Cash Money at a certain point. And he showed that last night. He performed last night. Uh, while the other artists on the records, was pretty much fillers. Juvie and Wayne, you couldn't stop it. Now we know what with Birdman. Okay, we know ever since people said he owed them money, he ain't never really been the same. He ain't never even been the same. Um, he went off on Turk, and he treating Young Boy like the 5-star recruit. And granted, he trying to recruit Young Boy. And granted, Young Boy right now on an unprecedented tour of Make America Slime Again, and he's killing. Uh, but Young Boy, you don't need Birdman. You don't need to be another piece of that. I know you're associated and everything like that, and I don't know necessarily the extent of your relationship, but don't sign, whatever the case is. And I don't believe you are, but just to pretty much touch base. You don't need it. Trust me. Wayne was there. It would have been a landslide. Okay. But Wayne would have had to been that hot boy Wayne and not this new Wayne. That's what I do gotta add that piece in there. Love was there. The love was there. It was pretty much they let it be known. Part one that song one there ain't no beef. It's gonna be love. It just was like No Limit had bangers, but they had more involved that they could have dropped more. I just think the lineup was poorly planned, and Cash Money had more of those timeless records that they could play anywhere. That's going to require you to move from the streets to the club, everywhere. Mia X was the X Factor. She to the chemistry her and Master P had, she demonstrated that last night. And while P was up there, Mia X came through and did what she did. Silk. Now I'm a Silk the Shocker fan. Okay, I've seen people give this man an F minus, not for last night, but for his life, for his career. Some people say they can tell I'm a Silk fan. I tell you to go check out some Brook Gang Music records. Listen for Seed or CT, and you tell me what you think. But Silk was Silk. When stuff started going off the rail, he became the moderator and made sure we show love and represent it. But I love the camaraderie and everything, the chemistry that it was, and once again it was a celebration. I could see that going on tour, them putting some opening artists on it, and going to make some money off of it. But I mean, the Birdman factor, that's the piece I just not comfortable with. Now, one of the things I am going to end this video with talking about is you got to understand Verzuz went corporate. We remember those early videos that we could only listen to hook of a record, 2 minutes of a record before it was cutting the live off, doing this, doing that. We the quality and the production was a good production, and them making the money that they was able to make enabled them to be able to get this. Okay, so yes, an hour and 20 in, hour and 30 in, they realized they had to end. They had to end it and everything. But I'd rather short time we get some bangers and it's make us want more versus they overdo it and they become shells of themselves. Birdman forgot his lines a lot of times. It was only so much longer, that Julie had him like that. Who else we got? Master P can only do this for so much longer. Y'all didn't want to hear Silk no more. Snoop would have he was about to go back to big time cripping. I don't know. So I like the way it ended. It was love. It was a good show overall. I'm giving a nod to Cash Money. Getting out the Cash Money. Excuse me. Not a personal thing. Once again, I wanted No Limit to win. If you think No Limit won, that's on you. I'm not talking to the people that think over here. I'm not talking to people that think over here. I'm talking to these people in the middle that don't know what they was watching last night. I'm looking at crowd reactions. I'm listening. I'm doing all of that. And for what it was, shout out to both those legendary groups. Both of them undefeated. Salute to both. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, comment, send this to a friend. Subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.